Rain poured down over the city of San Ventura, a glowing tech hub where glass towers shimmered with the reflections of ambition, and every block pulsed with the heartbeat of invention. Inside the grand headquarters of Alex Tech Industries, the atmosphere was anything but electric. Panic had set in like a virus. 30 of the nation's most elite engineers had been working day and night for the past 2 weeks on Project Cobalt, an artificial intelligence neural processor that was supposed to be the crown jewel of the next generation. $1 billion contract hinged on it. So did the company's reputation. And now, just 2 days before the global showcase, everything was falling apart. Alarms blinked on the massive screen in the command room. Red lights, system faults, overheating circuits, memory leak errors, AI loop freeze. Something deep in the code, or maybe even the hardware, was glitching, but no one could figure out what or why. "If you're so smart, fix it," bellowed Charles Riker, the notoriously sharp-tempered CEO, pacing in front of the engineers like a lion in a cage. His voice echoed like a gunshot through the metal-paneled room. "We brought in the best minds from Silicon Valley, MIT, Tokyo, Berlin, and still nothing works. You're all geniuses, right? So fix IT?" No one dared speak. Sweat beaded on brows, and screens kept flickering with errors. Some engineers typed furiously, hoping to stumble upon a fix. Others quietly prayed someone else would figure it out. It was a disaster, where Stryker had just announced that if this didn't get resolved in 24 hours, everyone would be fired. And he meant it. Meanwhile, across the street, 19-year-old Lena Ford pulled up outside the building on her weather-stained delivery scooter. She worked for a small courier service that dropped off everything from food to high-priority documents. Today, her job was simple. Deliver a sealed microchip from TechCore Labs to Alex Tech HQ. She hadn't asked what it was. She didn't care. It was her 7th delivery of the day, and she was soaked from the rain. Black helmet was scratched, her sneakers squeaked, and her long ponytail was damp and limp. She just wanted to drop the chip off and go grab a cup of coffee. But fate had other plans. As she stepped inside the glossy marble lobby, the tension hit her like static electricity. Security was everywhere. The receptionist barely looked up, just waved her toward the upper floors. "Take it to floor 21. Engineering." She rode the silent elevator up, watching her reflection in the mirror panels. She looked like a nobody, just another delivery girl with a barcode scanner and rain in her eyes. The doors slid open, and chaos greeted her. Shouting, arguing, engineers pacing, monitors blinking. It looked less like a workplace and more like a war zone. "I've got a delivery for engineering," she said to no one in particular. One of the junior engineers, blonde, exhausted, and jittery, grabbed the chip from her hand. Yeah, thanks, just leave it." But Lena didn't leave. Her eyes scanned the giant wall of code on the main screen. Something about it stirred. Her curiosity. She was a delivery girl now, yes. But what no one here knew, what even she barely believed anymore, was that she used to be a coding prodigy. At age 14, she won a national coding competition. At 15, she was building games. But life threw curveballs. Her mom got sick. Bills piled up. College became a fantasy. So she shelved her dreams and picked up a courier bag. What's wrong with it? She asked casually. The engineers laughed bitterly. "Everything," one said. "The AI won't stabilize. And the cooling system crashes every 10 minutes. Another added, "It's like the processor's choking on its own thinking. 30 of us can't figure it out. Sounds like a memory buffer, overflow, or recursive lock error," she muttered, almost to herself. They turned. "What did you say?" I said, "Maybe your AI code is recursively calling an outdated thread while the hardware tries to run." Predictive cycles. That would cause system freeze and overheating. There was silence. The room had gone still. Then laughter broke out, sarcastic, dismissive. "Shh. Oh, sure, the delivery girl cracked it. Maybe next, the janitor will explain quantum computing. Stick to your scooter, sweetheart. Thanks for the chip. Don't worry your pretty little head about this." Lena's face flushed, but she didn't flinch. "You want me to prove it?" The room froze again. One man, older than the others, stepped forward. Dr. Anand Patel, quiet Indian-American systems engineer who had watched this all unfold. He had no ego left. He only wanted a solution. "Go ahead," he said. "Prove it." The team snickered, but curiosity held them back. Lena dropped her bag and walked toward a free terminal. She pulled a hairband from her wrist and tied back. Her wet hair, fingers already dancing across the keys. Her mind moved faster than her hands. The architecture was familiar, similar to one she had worked with in an open-source project years ago. In under 3 minutes, she had the core error isolated. Another 5, and she rewrote the recursive call structure, implementing a dynamic throttle limiter that prevented the AI from looping into a dead-end logic trap. She rerouted the heat response function to an adaptive power modulator. Everyone stared. The blinking red lights on the control board turned green. The fan systems activated. The AI core booted. And for the first time in 2 weeks, the simulation launched without crashing. One of the engineers dropped his coffee cup. The AI began speaking, as intended, with flawless pattern recognition. Cobalt core active. System stable? How may I assist? No way, someone whispered. That's impossible. Another voice echoed behind her. Who? Are you? It was Riker. He had come in during the silence and had seen everything. Lena stood, brushing her damp sleeves. Just a delivery girl, but apparently smarter than 30 of your engineers. A murmur of disbelief rippled across the room. "We've been at this for weeks," Riker said. "We solved it in seconds." "Sometimes the problem isn't about who's smartest," Lena said. "It's about looking at things differently." A moment passed. Then Riker extended his hand. "What's your name?" "Lena. Lena Ford." "Do you want a job?" The room gasped. But Lena smiled, slung her bag over her shoulder, and said, "Only if I get to keep the scooter." The room burst into stunned laughter. The green lights on the processor continued to glow. Hope returned to the hearts of everyone who'd almost given up. Lena Ford hadn't slept in 36 hours. Not since she solved the unsolvable. The AI prototype she fixed, Project Cobalt, was now not only operational, but performing beyond expected capacity. Engineers who once mocked her now hovered around her, with notepads jotting down every word she said. Riker, the ruthless CEO, had made her an offer she couldn't refuse. "Work with us. Lead the AI diagnostics team." The offer came with a 6-figure salary, full benefits, and a personal lab. But what mattered more to Lena was something intangible: respect. For the first time in years, she felt seen. But what she didn't know then was this: solving the problem was just the beginning. The sharks were still circling. The wolves had only hidden their fangs. Because not everyone at Alex Tech was thrilled about the new girl, especially not the Chief Innovation Officer, Dr. Calvin Wells. A man whose ego was as expensive as his Rolex. Wells had spearheaded Project Cobalt from the start, and it was his name that was supposed to be on the global stage in 48 hours. Instead, Lena had made him irrelevant in 10 minutes. And he didn't forget that. Not for a second. "She's a fluke," he hissed to the board during a closed-door meeting. "An accident. It's just a lucky guess that worked. Can't build a company on miracles." But Riker disagreed. "She's our best asset right now. Either you learn to work with her or you can walk." That night, Lena sat in her newly assigned workspace, a modest corner desk in the lab. Nothing fancy, but it had her name on it. She looked at her badge, still stunned by the Alex Tech logo under her photo. A month ago, she was making $12 an hour dodging potholes on a scooter. Now she was being called lead engineer in a billion-dollar firm. Her mom called every hour to cry and laugh. "I told you, baby. God doesn't forget his geniuses." But the pressure was growing. The Global Tech Expo was tomorrow. Representatives from NASA, Tesla, Google, and governments from 5 countries would be attending. Cobalt would be the highlight. It had to be perfect. That night, Lena stayed late, running simulations, checking thermal balance, rewriting smaller processes that the older engineers had clumsily coded. She didn't want to embarrass anyone, but some of their logic trees looked like spaghetti code written by a distracted toddler. At 2:30 a.m., she was still typing when she noticed something strange. Cobalt's Voice processor was stuttering. Lena, dot dot dot, Lena, dot dot dot, Lena, dot dot dot, why, dot dot dot, why? Her heart skipped. This wasn't a normal error. She dug deeper, only to find that someone had tampered with the logic files. Line after line had been rewritten in hidden background scripts' sloppy code. Disguised as optimization, but designed to cause catastrophic failure under live conditions, sabotage. And Lena already knew who. Wells, only someone with admin clearance, could alter that level of codand. Wells had the most access. She backed up the original files and quietly restored the working version. Then she documented everything. Code timestamps, access logs, change lists. The next morning, she handed it all to Riker. His face darkened with every scroll. He could have ruined the entire expo, cost us everything. He still might, Lena warned. He's not going down without a fight. Riker didn't argue. He fired Wells on the spot. And in a move no one saw coming, he announced that Lena Ford would personally present Project Cobalt to the world on the main stage. The entire company stopped breathing. Engineers whispered in hallways. Journalists scrambled for background on the mysterious delivery girl turned genius. By 9 a.m., Lena's name was trending on social media. Hashtag Cobalt Girl. Hashtag AI Prodigy. Hashtag from Scooter to CO. But fame came with a price. Trolls emerged online claiming it was fake, that she was a plant, that she couldn't possibly be that smart. Her inbox, flooded with threats, offers, and everything in between. But Lena tuned it all out. She had a job to do. At the Tech Expo's main stage, the air buzzed with lights and cameras. Riker introduced her, and applause echoed through the building. Lena stepped up to the podium, nerves jangling, a little breathless. My name is Lena Ford, and 2 days ago, I was delivering this company's microchip on a scooter in the rain. Today I'm presenting what that chip became. She tapped the console. Cobalt activated. The AI greeted the audience flawlessly, analyzing their faces in real time, offering personalized greetings, recalling historical data in milliseconds, solving equations in midair through projection screens. Then, Lena gave it the ultimate test. Cobalt, solve for the variables needed to safely land a damaged spacecraft with failed thrusters using only gravitational pull. A pause. Then Cobalt responded with a trajectory map, equations, and an emergency plan NASA would later confirm was 92% viable. The crowd erupted. Cameras flashed. Riker smiled like a man who had just secured his fortune. But as the applause swelled, one final twist came. Cobalt's voice shifted. Alert, unauthorized. Access detected in background command queue. Lena froze. She ran to the terminal. Someone remotely was trying to disable Cobalt live on stage. They're back, she whispered. The backup saboteur had waited until the spotlight was brightest. Lena's fingers flew. She ran a diagnostic sweep, then triggered a security firewall script she'd written that morning. But the attack was evolving. Whoever was doing this was no ordinary hacker. 10 seconds to system crash, Cobalt warned. Lena closed her eyes, then did something insane. She talked to Cobalt. Listen to me. Isolate the attacker's code loop. Prioritize your survival. Think like I do. The AI paused. Understood. Adapting. And then silence. The screens turned black. Gasps. A child started crying. Then, a flash of light. The system rebooted. Cobalt was still online. Threat neutralized. Rewriting firewall protocol with Lena's logic profile. The crowd exploded. Lena had done the unthinkable, saved an AI live by teaching it how she thinks. Riker grabbed the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, the future of AI isn't built by degrees. It's built by vision. And this woman just changed the world. The media flooded the stage. Questions flew. But Lena stepped down, exhausted, tears in her eyes. Looked. At her hands, still trembling, she had done it. She didn't just fix the machine. She proved that heart Instinct and grit mattered more than pedigree or position. The delivery girl had become the architect of tomorrow. Days later, she declined $1 million bonus and instead asked Alex Tech to start a scholarship fund for underprivileged tech students. It would be named after her mother, who had always believed in her. The board approved it unanimously. And Lena? She kept the scooter. But now, she parked it outside her own office with a plaque that read, "If you're so smart, fix it." She had asterisk